All right, everybody, what is going on today? I am back at it with another video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a video that was made by another individual, Javier, on YouTube called Why Hair Systems Are Not the Answer. So we're going to be taking a look at this and kind of just deep diving into what he's saying here. And the reason for that is not to hate on this guy, but to really just kind of take what he's saying on a statement by statement basis to see, one, if it's accurate, my thoughts on it, and if it's something relevant that you should consider. I want to project an honest answer about the life with a hair system. All right, with that being said, let's just jump into it. So this is about 15 seconds into the video. We're going to start it, and I'm going to play it at 1.5 speed so that way you guys can move through it quick. Okay, so he's about to explain to us why he decided to get a hair system, why he decided to take it off. So let's start it off.
I'm going to go through the process of what I had done now, the process of it, and then why I couldn't bear to have it on only after 5 days. Took it off, literally like ripped it off my head, which was painful. I literally could not last another day with it on, and then I just shaved my head. So I found a clinic in London, and they offer you the difference of Indian, European, or luxury hair. Of course, I went for luxury, I went the best. They also do something called skin systems, which are incredibly thin, which go on, and then you get that redone every single month. Whereas the other three, so Indian, European, or luxury hair systems, you buy it for £1,500. It was for luxury, 1,300 I think for European, maybe 1,000 for Indian hair or something like that. I got luxury, 1,500.
All right, so already this guy's spending an enormous amount of money on one hair system right here. He's spending essentially, I think he just said £1,500 on a single hair system. It's a lot.
£1. You have a consultation. They take measurements of your scalp, cut a bit of your hair off, and they'll colour match it. You come back a week or two later, they shave this part of your head, put scalp protector on, then they glue around the edge, and then they stick it on, and then they cut the hair however you like it. And it's very long. The fringe probably comes down to here when they have it. So you can have it from here to obviously to here, this short if you'd like. So it is quite long when they put it on. It's all real human hair, of course, luxury. That will stay on for up to a month. You can shower in it, swim in it, exercise in it, all of these things, and it won't come off. They actually said if you've got a drill in your hair, spinning, you're more likely to be scalped than you are for it to come off. Which is crazy, and I literally getting it off was very difficult for me. I went in and I had it done. When you have it done, it's new and it is so high on your head, they call it like poofy. The hair hasn't settled, and I had to walk back to my car. This is in central London, okay, so there's people everywhere, and I am literally like having a panic attack because I'm like, oh my god, like what the hell do I look like? It looks like there's a dead like roadkill on your head because it's so like out there. I've never felt, and I'm a very confident person, and for me, like this was, I cannot explain the anxiety.
I mean, he's not wrong right here. So when you first get a hair system, yeah, it is a little bit of poof. But one of the things that often contributes to that is the way that the stylist styles your hair. For some reason, I don't know why, but 95% of hair system stylists love to just give you more volume. It's like they read this instruction manual that said that men that get a hair system want the poofiest, biggest, most voluptuous hair in the world. I don't get it, but it is something that you do experience. I actually tell anybody that is styling my hair when I first get it, be like, hey, dude, listen, I do not want a big hairstyle. Do not add more volume to it. Don't use a blow dryer. Don't curl my hair so that way it gets more volume. Don't need it. For some reason, hairstylists do that, but it is poofy. It gets solved, though. It gets resolved in like 1 or 2 washes. It's not a big deal.
Walking through Farringdon in central London, I felt it was horrific. They didn't tell me about that either. They did not tell me that it's going to look like, well, they said to me, oh, it'll settle a bit in a few days, but it might look a bit bigger. I didn't quite realise how crazy. And on and also on YouTube, I couldn't find any other people talking about that. It was really difficult, and I was getting really stressed out. I finally found some forums online that said after about 3 days it will go down a lot, and it did. However, the bed hair in the morning, and disclaimer, I sleep with mulberry silk pillowcases for my skin and hair anyway, and even with silk pillowcases, the bed hair was like monstrous. I shower in the mornings anyway. I usually go for a run first thing in the morning and I shower after that. So I'd have to wear a cap on my run. I have been for a run and it was okay. But you'd have to like wet it down at least every morning. It was so insanely ridiculous, the bed hair. And it was still really thick. And I did have the option to go back a week later and have it thinned out. They said, we always book you in a week after if you're not happy with anything.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about here. I mean, so number one, yes, it is poofy. Bed hair, if you're wearing silk, is not going to be that bad. In fact, right now, guess what? I haven't showered this morning. This is what my hair looks like. I don't know if this is exceptionally bad bedhead for somebody else, but I personally don't think it's that bad. If he's wearing silk pillowcases, maybe he rolls around a lot. Maybe he, grabs and pulls his hair. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't really think that that's the most valid thing as long as you're using a silk pillowcase. you know, look at my hair. Is this crazy bedhead? Maybe you want like some silky smooth, like argan oiled back. I don't know, maybe you wanted some slicked back argan oil hair when you first got up in the morning, but guess what? Bedhead is part of having hair. Everyone has bedhead if you have hair. It's just the way it is. I'm gonna fast forward through a good amount of this video that I just watched because most of it is him just talking about, you know, things like how it's itchy, it's hot, all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about it in a second, but I'm gonna fast forward to this portion right here where he talks a little bit more about his opinions and thoughts.
The anxiety of people knowing or not that, you know, this isn't my hair, and it's another thing to worry about if you go on holiday. You're going to want to take some glue just in case it lifts a bit. You know, it is technically like a hairpiece, even though it's like semi-permanent. And I've seen a lot of guys on YouTube, and they all look fantastic with them. You physically cannot tell they're wearing them. However, let me just say this, and this is no hate to the content creators that have dedicated channels to hair systems. Those content creators who have these dedicated channels around hair systems, often they are sponsored by hair system companies. They obviously are advocates of wearing hair systems because that's what their channel is about. If they put a video up saying, don't wear hair systems, don't do it, then after that one video, no one's going to come back to their channel. Okay, I won't.
All right, guys. First, I mean, not that he's calling me out directly, but I need to talk about this. So first off, yes, I did have a lot of sponsorships when it came to hair systems. I made this channel because I wanted to change guys' lives. When I first started this channel, guess what? I didn't have anybody talking about me. I didn't have any sponsorships. I didn't have anything like that. You know what I had? I had a passion for helping men with something that brought me a lot of insecurity in my life, my hair loss. So I went out there and I did something about it, just like some other people have done as well. Now, I don't really give a flying crap whether or not you wear a hair system. I want you to be the best man that you possibly can, and I don't care whether you wear a hair system. This channel is for those that want it, that are looking for it, that need some help, they need some support. If you decide to wear a hair system, great. If not, also great, which is why I interview people that choose to shave their head, why I've interviewed people like Bald Cafe that chooses to support shaving your head. I don't really care anyway. So don't call out me, or I mean, I guess you can call out other creators in terms of their integrity and why they have a channel. But we have it here because it's our interest, not because we're making some grandiose amount of money off of a small YouTube channel. That's ridiculous and fallacious at best. And I'm not attacking this guy right here, but this is coming from a guy that just said spending £3,000 is like buying a shirt or a purse.
I didn't realise just how cheap they were in Turkey, and I know there are probably some dodgy ones in Turkey, but there's also some amazing clinics out there, and for like £3,000 or less, you can actually get a transplant. And if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you know that £3,000 to me is like buying a bag or a jumper or a pair of shoes. Like, that literally isn't a lot of money to me, and to some people that may be a lot of money, and that may be a defining factor in if they can get that or not. But to me, I'm like, I literally spend like £3,000 like on a weekend in Harrods.
You know how much money these creators that talk about hair systems make? Maybe if people buy things from them, we're talking about like $100-200 a month, maybe, to be making consistent videos. So like to talk down to somebody because they're making $100-200 off of affiliate links makes zero sense, especially when this guy is talking about, you know, $3,000 being like nothing to him. It's funny.
I won't wear it then. Bye. I don't need your channel anymore because that option is now off the cards. What those content creators want you to do, and again, this isn't hate towards them, it's just how marketing works. I'm a YouTuber. I do a lot of research into SEO and how to gain, you know, more views, etc. We all do. It's a fact of life. So what those YouTubers are going to want to do is they're going to want you to get a hair system because they also have one and they think it's great. And if it works for them, that is fantastic, and they do look good. They're going to want you to have more questions. Okay, well, what about the maintenance? What about this? What about that? What about this? You know, and over time you're going to watch more and more and more of their videos because remember, you're going to probably have it forever. If you're going to buy one, then you are generally going to have that hair system for a very long time, and therefore you're going to keep coming back to their channel every time you have an FAQ type question, you know? So for them, there isn't really much good in looking at the negatives of a hair system. I watched a video today on one influencer who done negatives versus positives, hair systems versus hair transplants, and he basically put like no positives towards the hair transplant. And I was like, mate, like this video is also sponsored by a hair system company. So don't worry guys, you've got me to tell you all the downsides to it. So when you think a hair transplant in Turkey,
I don't know if he's talking about me or somebody else, doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think it's fair that I make another video that does talk about all of the positives of hair transplants. There's a lot of positives to both sides of the equation here. Once again, I don't really care what you do. I just want you to be happy. So with that being said, you know, if we take a look at this guy, it sounds like he's got a crazy amount of animosity towards hair systems, and he only spent 3 to 5 days wearing one. That being said, there is some real issues that come about with hair systems. It's not the easiest thing to manage, especially not in the first 3 to 6 months. It takes time, it takes effort to get to know how to use this kind of stuff. So yeah, after I look at that video, you know, what comes to my mind is this guy really did not give hair systems a fair chance. And that's fine. He doesn't have to. If a hair transplant is really the way that he wants to go, more power to him. Same if he decides to shave his head. But 3 to 5 days of wearing a hair system, yeah, you're not going to really understand the full picture or what it's truly like to live with one. You're going to feel a lot of overwhelm, right? Like in my earliest videos, I talk about the concept of the dip, talking about how when you first experience something new, you're going to be met with a lot of resistance. And when you encounter that resistance, you have to recommit to the course that you're moving forward on. You know, so I think that this video in itself is, I think it's an incomplete picture, and you know, it's gotten a little bit of traction, meaning it's got thousands of views, because it's the easy way out, right? When you talk hate about something, it's going to pick up traction because people love controversial stuff like that, versus, you know, content that's just like, hey, let's support one another, and that's fine. You know, I'm not here to like boost the algorithm or anything. I'm here to support you guys. These videos don't get thousands and millions of views. They get maybe a couple hundred to a couple thousand views at most. So, you know, with that being said, if there's any way I can support you, let me know. I'd love to have a conversation with this guy one-on-one and talk with him, so that way I can kind of hear what's going on for him and see if I can just kind of help him through whatever his process is. I think transplants, I think shaving your head, I think hair systems are all great options. I'm not a big fan of pharmaceuticals, drugs, things like minoxidil, and less so minoxidil, but especially finasteride when it's taking orally, because of the side effects that it can have outside the body. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Not everybody else's, and you're entitled to your own. So, till next time, guys. See ya.